So just one little mention that tonight is Paul's event. I'm no part of his business. I've known his business for a long time.
Get up, you take the bird out of the fridge and we're going to put it on the side because we want to actually get the chill out of it and we want to bring it up to close to room temperature. That's the first thing to do. About 3 hours before you're going to have Christmas lunch, we want to put your average turkey in the oven. That's a 4, 5, 6 kilo turkey. 3 hours before you want to serve. You get the bird, let's get it roasted. Here we are. Roasting tin, okay, you put half a pint, 500 ml of water in the bottom of it, season it with salt and pepper. Yeah, and I love to put some red onions in there as well. The reason for putting the bird breast down is because all the fat deposits of the bird are in the back there, yeah, of a mature turkey. So when that starts to cook, that fat is rendering down and it's going down through the bird. The reason for putting the water in the bottom of the tin is not to keep it moist, it's to catch all those wonderful stock, wonderful juices as they come out of the bird. We don't recommend stuffing the bird because if you do stuff the bird, you can't get the heat through it evenly. It won't cook. If you really desperately want to stuff it, maybe just slice some meat, sausage, just gently in the cavity, but you've got to let the heat get through the bird. So it's in there, seasoned, salt and pepper, half a pint of water in the bottom, and I love a few of whatever vegetables you like, put it to the bottom of the tin there. Right, 3 hours before Christmas Christmas lunch, you take the bird and you put it into a hot oven. 160 if it's a fan, 180 if it's not, a hot oven if it's an Aga. Right, that's where you want to be. Put it in, leave it there for an hour. After an hour, you take it out, you get your oven gloves, you get the hot bird and you turn it over like this. And if there's not enough water in the bottom of the tin, and it's all starting to evaporate off, we want to add a bit more water to the bottom of the tin because we've got to catch all that wonderful stock that comes out. You know, I should have said really, I mean the tin foil, you know, tin foil is about keeping moisture in around the skin, brining, butter, oil, all that came about, and basting, all that came about when birds were becoming younger and younger and younger. You were taking the fat out of it, it was going to be drier, so you had to do lots to put the moisture back in. If you get one of these birds, you don't have to do that. It has natural intramuscular fat. So we've taken it out, we turned it over back into the oven about 20 minutes before the end of recommended cooking times. We are going to start checking the temperatures. And here we have meat thermometer. Every single one of our turkey comes with these and cooking instructions, and we're going to put that into the breast of the bird. That needle will start to spin. This is a 6 kilo bird, cooked here in 1 hour 55 minutes. These birds will cook at twice the speed of a normal bird, because when we talk about that intramuscular fat, that fat conducts the heat through the meat an awful lot quicker than a lean bird. That's why they cook a lot quicker. Now, it's really hard, it's been really hard for me over the years as a turkey farmer because you're saying, you know, you've got to cook it for 2 hours and they say, not a chance in hell. You know, you go on the website, the Food Standards Agency is saying 4 hours, DEF is saying 5.5 hours, 6 hours. That's why we send the thermometer in there, yeah? Because that doesn't lie, that will tell you. The other thing, because we dry pluck the bird, because we hang it, there's no bacterial count, we can get the core temperature a lot lower than the normal bird. We're saying 60 degrees rather than 72. And that again is because of the dry processing and the hanging. So once that bird gets up to temperature, yeah, and every bird's got the little gold bit in there, we're going to take it out of the oven. Right? Now, I don't know what it is about the turkey, but when it comes out of the oven, this is saying it's cooked, that looks cooked. Everything about it says it's cooked, but we all jump on it with a sleeping bag and a load of tin foil. Because we don't want it to go cold, really. I mean, that's, you know, it's going to go cold. That's a disaster, right? An absolute disaster, because what you've done then is created another little oven. The bird will continue to cook. And indeed, when you take that out and you leave that needle in, that will continue to rise for about 45 minutes. Right? It will carry on cooking. So you must never cover the bird, right, with all those things. If you went, there's a bit of tin foil over the top, fine. But no, you're just going to take it out, right? And don't jump in it and insulate it. You put it to the side and you rest it for at least 1 hour. This bird has been out of the oven now for 2 hours and 5 minutes, and that is still 52 degrees at core. Okay? It's not going to go cold. Right? And if on Christmas Day things are running really late and you've had far too much to drink, and you really are behind, if the meat's a bit tepid, don't put it back in the oven and bring it back up to temperature. carve it and then get your stock piping hot, yeah, and just pour the stock over the meat, and that will bring the meat back up to temperature. So we're now at temperature, and we're ready to carve Christmas Day. Right. Now the other thing about letting the bird stand for an hour is, get this here, you can handle the bird. Now what Jamie didn't tell you, I am the fastest plucker in the world in the Guinness Book of Records. I'm actually also the fastest turkey carver.
Are you?
Yeah. I have 2 Guinness World Records.
Anything else that you haven't told us?
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you. So, we're going to carve the bird, and if you carve the bird like this, you'll typically get about 30% more servings out of your turkey. Right? And what we're going to do is basically break it down into its primals. Right? We're going to take the leg off, we're going to take the wing off, and then we're going to take the breast off. So you get a really sharp knife, treat yourself, and first of all, you take that first wing tip off. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to cut down through the leg. And then you can just peel the leg up. Okay. And take that off. There's the leg. Then, you see what you've done is you've exposed the breast, and you could go start to carve it down, but we're going to go a step further and take the whole of the breast off. There we go. And you know, a sharp knife is so important for this. Treat yourself, it's Christmas Day. Take your time. Yeah, you haven't got to worry about this. What I'm going to do is I'll just follow the line of the bone down to the keel, and we're going to take the whole of the breast lobe off. There we go. Put that in there. And then cut that off. When I did my world record, I did a 7 kilo turkey into 16 equal servings, all over 180 grams, with white meat and dark meat, plated, stocked, and ready to go in 3 minutes 21 seconds.
Ooh, 3 minutes,
Pretty damn good. Available for hire.
Yeah.
Right, so I've taken the wing off again. Let's cut the thigh off. Snapped it, never mind. And then that's open there, so then we can then just take the whole breast lobe off again.
So have you patented this method of carving?
The Kelly Carve.
Because I've seen it done at Coppice, as I said. You know,
Well,
they do the same thing.
Yeah. I wonder why that
Certain annoying chefs.
Have you done it like this, Jamie?
Yeah, I might have. But at least I'm loyal with my turkey.
Yes. There we go.
Does take stress out of carving at the table though. The carving at the table looks great, but it's quite stressful.
All eyes are on you, aren't you? Now what I've done, you see, I've just taken the press off, all the lobes off, legs, the meat, and left the carcass there. You see how much meat we've got of that?
Yeah.
Right? When you've done your normal turkey, if you just hack away at it, there is so much left on there, and it's all waste. Right? So there we go. Put that there. Now, this is one of my. You've got a baking tray there. Marissa, is there a baking
Do
tray?
you want a platter?
I just want a baking tray. You can take the skin off. So if I crack it.
Oh, right, that old chestnut. Yeah,
That old chestnut. This I love. Yeah, this is very, very special. Here we are.
So turkey crackling, Paul. I mean that. The theory behind that is to literally get it crispy as crackling. Right?
Yeah, that's right. And if when you take your turkey out of the oven, if the skin is really, really crispy, but you probably cremated it for that. Yeah. The skin actually just wants to be a little bit soft, okay, when it comes out. But we are going to make turkey crackling. So we've carved the bird. Now you can peel the skin off, and then you lay that on your baking tray. Look at the leg, how the skin comes off. And that extra maturity, yeah, you can see you've got all this lovely fat that's laid under the skin. That's going to render down beautiful crispy skin. So you take the leg meat off there. There's a lovely bit of skin on the back of the wing there, but they are beautifully crisp and ready to eat, so we're not going to waste that. The shoulder, taking the shoulder off there. Let's do that. Mid-wing, there's a lovely bit of skin on the back there. Peel that leg skin off again. And there's breast skin. So, what you do, you get to taste it, is as soon as you've carved this, you get that skin on there, season it with salt, yeah? And then we're going to put it straight back into the oven while we're carving. That will take about 20 minutes, 25 minutes in your oven, 160, 180, and it will have a beautiful crackling. So, can you put some?
Yeah.
Thanks, Sue. Yeah. Right. So that's that. Now let's carve the turkey. I've got a big message to tell you. First of all, when you've got the meat like this, you can carve beautiful slices of even turkey meat. And if you look at you get to see it later on.
Jamie on his knees.
Thank you, my lord. You get really even slices of turkey meat when the breast is like that.
So even if you're not a great carver, you've got a good chance of getting it right.
Exactly.
They're taking away the vulnerability.
And because it makes it so much easier to carve, doesn't it? And like I say, when you're taking that breast lobe off, take your time. Don't rush it. Just follow the line of the bone, and once it's off, then you can start to carve. Right, put that onto your plate.
Would you like a nice platter, Paul?
I would love them.
Would you like to choose from one of these vintage sheep?
What about this one?
Let's go. There you go, that's me nan's.
Let's see. They're all clean. They're all clean. There we go. Put them there like that. Toby, would you get some stock, piping hot stock? Yeah, thanks. Now, the leg meat. I am going to, if I would plead with you, as journalists, the big story I've got, not just for Kelly Bronze, but for the turkey industry, the 70% of turkeys bought in the supermarkets now are crowns.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand it, because if you look at, even at the very base level of a standard fresh crown, they're £4 a kilo. The whole bird is £4 a kilo. The crown is £7 a kilo. You have bought the whole turkey. All we do as turkey farmers is whatever we cut off, we put on to the breast. Right? So you bought it. And you know the horrendous thing? Hundreds of thousands of those legs and drums get thrown away, yeah, when you bought them. Yeah? So if you go away with anything tonight, please, I plead with you.
Well, millions, Paul, right?
Millions. You know, it's absolute food waste to its nth degree. You know? And the people that bought the crown, they paid for the whole bird. And when you get the whole bird, I'll snap that off. You know, when you get a crown, you just get this front bit. Right? There is no bone marrow in there. Yeah? There is no goodness, there's no carcass deposition. So you will not get a wonderful stock. Yeah? All the stock and the gravy is in this backbone here, and in the legs and the drums and this dark meat. Yeah? That's what will give you a wonderful stock and gravy. You will not get that with a crown. Right? And you bought it. So what are we all going to do? Buy a whole bird.
But also the leftovers, Paul, the leftovers.
The leftovers as well. That's right, you don't get all the leftovers that we're going to make with the dark meat.
The best bit.
The best bit. And the dark meat, to me, is stunning. If you see how dark that is, yeah, that is a sign of quality, because that's the myoglobin. Right? It's the myoglobin and all the exercise and the work that the free-range turkeys have done that bring that dark colour to the meat. When you go and get your chicken now in the supermarkets, wonderful value, fantastic, but the leg meat is very, very similar in colour, is it not, to the breast meat? That is purely because they are so young, they haven't done the exercises, and the myoglobin haven't given them that lovely dark colour. Yeah? And it's that lovely dark colour that brings you the flavour. You get amazing good qualities. The other thing we do, we pull all the tendons out of the leg. Yeah? When you hang turkeys and dry pluck them, you can do that because the collagen breakdown allows you to do it. If you get a normal turkey to kill straight away, you can't pull the tendons because the collagen hasn't broken down. So when you carve the drumstick with Kelly Bronze, you do not get any sinews or any tendons. Yeah? So even the drumstick tastes fantastic. Now, no one else would do that, or no other factory would do that, because A, if you pull stuff out, you're removing weight. Why would you do that? Yeah, you sell weight. We have 2 people on the line doing this, so it's a very, very expensive process for it to do. But it does make the drumstick into a great piece of meat. So, you carve the turkey. Bottom there. Right, Ellen, this is my youngest Ella. Instagram live. There we are. Yeah. So, you've got your meat there. What you don't need at the particular time, leave uncarved rather than carve it because it will go dry. This is the stock you get. This is the juices from the bird, actually from 3 turkeys that have been produced there. You will not get anything like that from a young turkey because it hasn't got bone marrow and it hasn't got carcass deposition. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that young turkey because they are amazing value. What upsets me is you can't expect a culinary delight at Christmas. Yeah, if you're only going to spend 25 quid, you get great value in terms of pound to spend for grams of protein. So then you get the stock from the bird, and if there's anything, please tell everybody no. Should I say bisto? No gravy granules, no bisto, nothing like that at all. That's sacrilege because you've got a wonderful stock with the bird. Yeah. We're going to pick that up. And you take those juices from the bird.
Sound effects.
And you put them over the meat, and that will take up the full flavour of the turkey. And there is nothing being added except salt and pepper. And I just put a few red onions.
So that stock now and the juices are now seasoning the sliced turkey breast.
Exactly.
Perfect.
That's taken up the full flavour of the turkey. For me, I was talking about leftovers earlier. My favourite easy leftover, really easy to do, is what I call the seasonal wrap. You get a flour tortilla, any bits of meat, anything that is left on the carcass, you can peel off with your fingers. Yeah, you can take all that off, you can put it on the board, any bits of skin, anything that's left, you chop it all up. You put it into a wrap. If you've got some Brussels sprouts left over, yeah, put the Brussels sprouts in, a bit of cream, and with cranberry jelly, yeah, and you make this wonderful festive wrap. Anything that's left over, and you can make that wrap as drunk as a lord. There's no carving, little bits of turkey.
What would your dad have done? Trendy rat boy.
Ask him. He's gone really quiet. That's a really great way of using, and that's actually uses everything, you see, the skin and everything. And the dark meat, beautiful thing, if you've got lots of dark meat left over, hopefully you won't, because we're all going to get whole turkey this Christmas one. Use that in a little hoisin, in a little wrap, yeah, and put some hoisin sauce on it, yeah, and you get the most amazing dark and crispy wraps. We're going to have some turkey now. We're going to taste some Christmas gear. Thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Happy Christmas.
Bless you. Over and out.
Over and out. So we're going to carve turkey and have some.